we again go back into the details of the application, which is to figure out what components are being used. And this is essentially just a list. It is talking about what component is doing what and how it does what it does. Having this list allows you to break down each component and figure out what sort of network accesses it could have, what could potentially go wrong with the way it is communicating with other components. But the most important bit actually is the data dictionary. And the data dictionary allows you to figure out what information flows through your application that is important to the business. From the security objectives, we realize that we have PII in terms of two things. We have Acme events, the customer PII flowing through the application, and this could potentially be names, emails, addresses, anything that could be leaked would essentially mean that customer's information is now widely available. And because we are the data processors, we could be essentially leaking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of customer identifiable data. And therefore, it becomes one of the most important things that we have to protect. And in the second case, we have PCI data, which would be card information, probably some sort of name and maybe the last 4 digits, because as an application user who has used a payment gateway, we are probably holding on to transaction IDs. We are probably holding on to maybe the 4 digits, maybe the name of the user, which puts us lower on the scale of what sort of data we are handling, but still something that we should be careful about. And finally, customer registration assets, which could be the kind of event, where it is happening, how many people are invited. All of this information is going to be in sorts of static websites. If that were leaked, this would be customer sensitive data that we should be protecting. And the reason a data dictionary is important is because now we are able to draw sort of boundaries around our application data and figure out any time an application component is making contact with this data, we know that component has to be thoroughly examined and to figure out that every sort of transaction happening through it is given a lot more importance. And that finally brings us to something called stepping stones. And the idea for a stepping stone is that these are pieces of information, either credentials, either configuration strings, security fundamentals that will allow a malicious actor to gain access to something much bigger than what is within itself. For example, the database contains RPII. So it has our customer information, it probably has transaction data. To get access to the database, you have to use passwords or connection strings. So anybody who has access to passwords, it could be authorized database administrators, maybe your CI/CD pipeline has these connection strings that are embedded into them. All of these now become suspect, and we are trying to ensure that those pieces are also secure. If the keys are locked away, then you can be sure that the lock is actually going to work the way it is supposed to work. So we essentially use stepping stones as a way to go back and look at our application and figure out where things could go wrong, and therefore what is 1 or 2 steps removed from that could give you access to the major piece itself.